Good morning, Boopay. Anything to say to the vlog today? It's 5 p.m. I am laying on my office beanbag with Coop. Where are you at? There he is. Okay, my phone ran out of storage, so I cleared some up. But I know I've been saying that I need to do homework for a couple days now, but it's overdue now. So I definitely have to do homework tonight. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what the plan is for today. Okay, so here's the thing. I am really in the mood to read, which almost never happens to me anymore. I looked back at my books I've read this year, and I've read 2. So right now I'm really in the mood to read, and so I think I'm gonna set a timer for an hour and read a little bit and then jump into homework. You can hear my dog, he's pretty upset in the background at this news, but that is the current plan. So here are the 2 shelves I'm looking at picking from right now. I am drawn to In the Penalty Box, and I'm halfway through Turtles all the way down. Michigan versus the Boys, that's a pretty big draw. So I went back and reviewed my 21 books to read in 2021, and this was on there. So as much as I did want to read In the Penalty Box, kind of want to stay consistent with myself, and I feel like this is a very similar story, so I'm gonna run with this one. So my 45-minute timer didn't work. When it went off, I shut it off, and I read Michigan versus the Boys all in one sitting. So immediate thoughts, because I finished the book 60 seconds ago. It was good. I do take some issue with it. I guess I thought it would be more of a story where Michigan overcomes adversity by joining a boys hockey team, and they learn to respect her as she proves them wrong on the ice, which she shouldn't have to earn respect. She made the team to start with, blah blah blah. But that's where I thought the story was going. It went in a very different direction. I mean, what are the chances anybody watching this would ever read this book? So my spoiler review is that it went in a direction of abuse and possible date rape, and Michigan's father being a cop and her taking everything to the cops and getting people arrested, and like there's this whole big thing about how the boys team would never accept her as a girl, and so they continued to fuck around with her until she, I don't know. It's a lot to process when it's not at all what I was expecting. Or like the coach of the boys team, his daughter plays on an all boys team, but he was against having a girl play on his all boys team, which makes no sense to me. And then he was super rude to her throughout the whole season and always took the side of the head guy, Daniel, Captain Daniel, talked massive shit about her and like let the boys talk shit about her and let them rough her up. It was weird. That part was definitely strange to me because as a coach, it's a lot. That's the bottom line, is it was a lot, and it's not at all what I expected going into this book. Off the top of my head, I would give this a 3 out of 5 stars, but I definitely have to think about this more. I'm probably gonna go read some reviews and just kind of gather where everyone else's head is at after reading this. But yeah, definitely an interesting read. I mean, I read the whole thing in one sitting, so I definitely didn't hate it. And my little reading buddy Did you like the book? He says, no, you did not play with me. 0 out of 5. So I figured, why not end the night talking about Hawkeye? So I have given you guys a few days to watch the episode, but basically my thoughts on the last episode, obviously with there only being 2 episodes left now, we definitely had to reach our breaking point, and we did. So in this episode, we saw a lot of flashbacks to Natasha. So Clint thinking about his friendship, thinking about different periods in their life, and then obviously Vormir. And we had a really cute montage with Kate and Clint. I loved the Christmas montage of them decorating the tree and watching movies and wearing ugly sweaters, and Clint opening up a little bit to Kate and talking about, you know, his time as, not really talking about it, but confirming he spent time as Ronin, and then talking about his friendship with Natasha and how much that meant to him. And I think all of us felt that emotion in that moment of him talking about how Natasha was the best shot he never took. So that was really emotional. And then obviously that led us into the big scene. So the whole time when the Tracksuit Mafia broke into the auction, they were after this watch. I think it's a Rolex, but it was confirmed in this episode that they had the watch. And it was also confirmed that it used to belong to Clint's wife when she was part of this whole, I guess she wouldn't have been an Avenger because that wasn't a thing yet. I don't know if she is a villain or if she was working with Nick Fury or how she has ties to the watch. But it is pretty obvious that the watch was hers at one point, and it has her identifying information on it. Why the Tracksuit Mafia wanted it though, I'm not clear on. But they locate the watch, they go to get it, it's Maya's apartment, and then we have the huge fight scene. So, given everything that's happened up until this point, we knew that at some point Kate and Clint would have a falling out, because that is the way that these go. We have to hit our low point. So, Clint watches Kate get pushed off the side of the building. We see him in that moment. When he reaches down to grab her, it is the exact scene as when he is reaching down to grab Natasha. And when he lets her go, obviously she's safe when he lets her go, and he tells her to get out because he is not willing to lose another partner. And I think that really hit home because Natasha has been a big driving point for him up until this point. It has, people will talk about her all throughout Hawkeye, and then we had a lot of her memories during this episode. So having that parallel with Kate and then him telling her to leave, I think was really powerful. But while Kate was fighting Maya, we had the masked stranger fighting Clint. And I did not put the pieces together until the big reveal. My friend, when we were talking about the episode, was like, oh yeah, I knew right away. And I was like, it just wasn't clicking with me, but it was Yelena. So at the end of episode 4, Yelena comes in and she is ready to kill. She is out for Clint, and Maya is also out for Clint. And so there's just, and Kate kind of, but there's just a lot going on. Clint now thinks a Black Widow assassin has been hired out against him, which kinda, right? Like, Yelena's no longer a Black Widow, but she is an assassin that's been hired to take out Clint. So we have this big moment at the end where Kate has the opportunity to shoot Yelena and she doesn't. And I think that's really important because for the next young Avengers that we're doing, so they're phasing out the old Avengers, bringing in the new ones, and I think I think Kate and Yelena are gonna have a really powerful dynamic, just like Clint and Natasha. But Kate does not take the shot, and Yelena leaves, and Clint kicks Kate out. So a very powerful ending overall. I still have no idea how these storylines are converging. So we've now tied Jack to the Tracksuit Mafia as the head of the Tracksuit Mafia, but I'm not sure where this is all going still, and with 2 episodes left, that's a little worrisome for me to not know where the story is headed. I felt like I had a pretty good idea with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is the closest show I can relate to Hawkeye because it's not like Loki and it's not like WandaVision. But with this one, I don't have a good grasp on where we're headed. I think another key moment in the episode was Kate's mother. So she speaks to Clint. She asks him not to involve Kate in whatever he's doing because Kate means the world to her. So Clint leaves, and immediately Kate's mother calls someone and lets them know that they have an emergency on their hands because an Avenger is now involved. So obviously she's not calling Jack because Jack already knows that Hawkeye is involved. So whoever she's calling is part of this bigger scheme that's going on. Whether or not Kate's mom is the actual big bad of this series is yet to be discovered. It's definitely, Jack's not a good guy, but I don't think he's the all-powerful bad guy either at play here. And then I would not classify Maya as a villain. I would classify Maya as hurt and trying to find revenge after losing someone she loved, just like Yelena. And both of them just happened to be after Clint, which in Maya's case, Clint did kill her father. So from whatever perspective you look at it, if you're looking at things from Maya's perspective, Clint really is the villain to her. So I don't know, we just have a bunch of power dynamics at play right now, and we have a bunch of storylines that have loose ends that need tying up. So I'm very intrigued to see how we get through the next 2 episodes. Obviously, Kate is going to have to come back. Whether Kate finds Yelena first to talk things out, but I don't honestly think anybody knows what happened on Vormir. I think they know Natasha lost, I think the public knows that Natasha lost her life for the greater good, quote unquote, to stop Thanos. But I don't think, aside from the core Avengers, anybody knows what happened. So the only way for Yelena to come to know the story is to talk to Clint. But she's definitely a shoot first, ask questions later character. So I think the only way that conversation could happen is between Kate and Yelena. I'm just not sure how it's all going down, because I don't think Kate knows any more than the rest of the general public, other than Natasha was Clint's best friend. And that is really all that I have stirring up here right now. I am a little bit at a loss for how Jack and Kate's mother are going to fit into the storyline, where we're going with Maya, because Maya had a list of Clint's family and their names and ages. So I don't know where that whole dynamic is going, but I'm interested to see how we tie this all together. So to end the night on my Hawkeye rant, that is all for today's vlog. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe as we continue vlogmas, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow.